My promise and our desire is to be good community partners and run a responsible business that is fun and exciting for everyone.
Today on the Morning Edition, a high-stakes gaming project is underway, but not everyone is ready to spin the wheel on it. Why some say in the battle of the bets, the odds aren't in their favor.
Plus, federal immigration enforcement in Anchorage, but officials aren't saying much or if it's tied to the recent presidential orders, what we know and how schools are responding to the possibility of ICE at schools. And later.
The beloved classic is heading back to the Prairie. Discover how this fresh take aims to capture the hearts of both longtime Little House on the Prairie fans and new viewers alike as the Morning Edition starts now. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for waking up with us on this Tuesday. I remember Little Prairie, but I wasn't like an avid watcher of it.
No, we know Aaron loves Little House on the Prairie.
I'm so ready for it.
Are you ready?
I am. I grew up reading those books. I believe it's coming to Netflix, and I am just ready to see that that TV series.
I have to give it a second run then.
And we are waking up this morning to those chilly conditions still with us across South Central. But like we were talking about yesterday, a large portion of this week is going to remain fairly quiet with plenty of sunshine in the forecast. Now, we will see that potential for some daily freezing fog sticking around a large portion of the Anchorage Bowl. So we will be watching that throughout the day. Temperature-wise this morning as we wake up, we are seeing those temperatures sitting in the single digits. We're just a few degrees warmer than what we were sitting at yesterday. And we're going to continue to hold on to this gradual warming trend through a large portion of this week. Currently sitting at 10 degrees at Ted Stevens. Here over the next couple of days, we are going to see those afternoon or those overnight lows likely climbing into the mid-teens. 6 degrees in Merrill Field, 5 in Muldoon, 1 degree in Campbell Creek. Meanwhile, as you head out towards Upper DeArmond, as you head out towards Glen Alps, the hillside, we're seeing those temperatures warming into the upper 20s, even seeing some lower 30s looking possible in some of those higher elevations. That's that warm air inversion that we do have in place across South Central, or at least the Anchorage Bowl, which is going to lead to the possibility for some freezing fog formation. So notice this. This is what we like to call a sounding of the atmosphere. It takes the dew point, the temperature, the winds. The green line, that is that dew point. The red line, that's our temperature. Notice at the surface where you're seeing that red line climbing, that is our warm air inversion that we have in place. That's allowing it to trap pollutants in at the surface, smog, and the possibility for seeing that freezing fog form. So we could see that likelihood this morning. So just be mindful of that as you get out on those roadways. We'll see temperatures today warming into the teens and the 20s. I'll have more on that in that 7-day forecast for you coming up.
The FBI in Anchorage is working with federal authorities on immigration enforcement. The agency shared photos of recent operations, and it's sparking questions about a possible connection to the newly signed Laken-Riley Act.
Yeah, and meanwhile, the Anchorage School District is addressing concerns, reassuring families about school safety and immigration policies. Investigative reporter Johnson Kuhn has this morning's top story.
The announcement says the field collaboration was in partnership with the Department of Justice. FBI Anchorage also shared several photos which we confirmed were taken over this past weekend as part of the immigration enforcement. You can see those photos here and posted to the social media platform X by FBI Anchorage. On January 29th, President Trump signed the Laken-Riley Act into law, his first piece of legislation that federally mandates the detention of illegal immigrants who are accused of theft, burglary, assaulting police, and any crime that results in death or serious injury. Reached by Alaska's news source, neither the FBI Anchorage or the Department of Homeland Security Regional Office in Seattle would confirm whether the recent collaboration was in direct result of the passage of the Laken-Riley Act. 20 minutes after the FBI Anchorage posted to social media, the Anchorage School District released a statement to the community saying, the Anchorage School District is carefully reviewing recent presidential executive orders and directives to assess their potential impact on our students, families, and staff. We want to assure you that our priority remains ensuring that every school is a safe, welcoming, and supportive space for all students and families. ASD said it remains committed to establishing protocols while working with law enforcement, including immigration authorities, adding, quote, any immigration officials seeking to enter ASD property will be required to present a judicially signed warrant. This warrant will then be reviewed by ASD's legal counsel to ensure it meets the necessary legal standards before any action is taken. Alaska's news source has reached out to the Department of Homeland Security's regional headquarters in Seattle for more information and are waiting to hear back. Johnson Kuhn, Alaska's news source.
Businesses across the country closed Monday as part of a Day Without Immigrants protest against President Trump's immigration policies. Meanwhile, thousands took to the streets. Daycares, grocery stores, and salons all took part, urging immigrants to skip work, school, and spending to highlight their economic impact. Since taking office, the Trump administration has wasted no time fulfilling a campaign promise to crack down on illegal immigration.
The Anchorage School District is facing tough choices as it grapples with a major budget crisis. The impact will be significant. Families could see major programs disappear. Lauren Maxwell breaks down the proposed cuts and what they mean for students.
The proposed budget that school board members will be asked to approve includes some deep cuts to both staffing and programming. It includes increasing class sizes, eliminating more than 200 teaching positions, getting rid of the Ignite program for gifted learners, cutting all middle school sports, and at the high school level, eliminating swimming, hockey, and gymnastics. The Anchorage School Board president says they can make some changes if Anchorage receives more funding at a later date, but some things they have to move on sooner rather than later.
They have to move forward with staffing. They have to move forward with involuntary transfers between buildings. Principals have to make decisions about which programs they're going to offer in the fall. It's very real, even if we think it's not the final budget yet.
Now, the district does want people to contact their legislators and ask for more funding. And people can also testify at Tuesday night's school board meeting, which starts at 6 p.m. Lauren Maxwell, Alaska's news source.
In today's Capitol coverage, education funding remains a top priority. This week, lawmakers again debate House Bill 69, which could be a factor at schools across the state as it looks to increase the base student allocation. The bill used a complex calculation that goes into 2028.
And then going forward, starting in fiscal year 29, it will be inflation proofing going forward. The purpose of the inflation proofing is to take the risk that districts face right now with inflation and place that on the legislature so that districts have some predictability and stability in their funding.
Lawmakers are divided on how to address education funding. Some support one-time financial relief, while others push for long-term policy changes. Governor Mike Dunleavy has introduced his own education bill without a permanent increase to the BSA. Even within the House Education Committee, there's no clear consensus on the best path forward.
But when we start talking about inflation proofing, how are we going to have predictable measures on how, as a state, we're going to be able to afford what this needs to be? And I understand we have to have some policy modifications, but what do those policy modifications look like?
I'm not sure I understand the question about policy changes. As far as inflation proofing, I can just say right now districts face that same question with no ability to shift things in their budget.
I really need to see from every school district efforts made to try to right size. If they have buildings they can't support anymore because of lost enrollment, they need to make an effort to consolidate amongst their own assets. I don't like seeing school closures any more than anybody else. I've had 5 close in my district, and I know what that looks like, and it's awful.
A funding source for House Bill 69 remains unclear. This week, lawmakers also heard from Alaska school administrators and school board leaders. More details are on our website. The House and Senate meet again later this week.
A federal grant covering most of Matsu's bus service is ending, leaving the borough to fund half the cost or lose service by July. Mayor Edna DeVries says 4 funding options are being considered, costing between $750,000 and $1.5 million, depending on tax support. Residents are encouraged to share input at upcoming meetings. And we have more details on a story that we first brought you here on the Morning Edition. A 16-year-old was shot and killed in Juneau during what police say appears to have started as road rage. Police say a 24-year-old reported being followed just after midnight Monday. He claimed the teen pointed what looked like a rifle at him. He fired, killing the teenager. Officers later determined the teen had a BB gun and died at the scene. The shooter was questioned and released, with police calling it a possible case of self-defense.
It appears to be a scare tactic. Realistic-looking firearms or replica guns are obviously dangerous. This is not something that you should run around the street demonstrating to people, because they do have a right to act in self-defense.
A backcountry skier is recovering this morning after suffering injuries in an avalanche near Turnagain Pass.
And we have video of the avalanche from last Friday, and you'll see the skier drop thousands of feet. The skier was about 200 feet down East Groundhog Peak when the movement triggered a slide, and the skier got caught up in that avalanche. If you watch closely, you can see that snow that's just there starting to come down.
The avalanche carried the skier about 1,200 feet downhill. The 6-person group he was with, along with others, were able to get to him medical care within minutes.
So what you do is you listen. There's no point in micromanaging your team members and being like, okay, tell me if you see him, tell me where is that. You just listen. And probably within 30 seconds of the word avalanche, I already had my board off. I was running up mountain, maybe 100 feet, to jump on my friend's snow machine and going down the mountain.
After evaluating his injured friend, Pease and others helped administer backcountry medicine and called for help.
A National Guard helicopter came to the skier's rescue, and he's being treated for his injuries, including a pelvic fracture. Pease said he's expected to make a full recovery. After the break, we have a first look as a new gaming hall is raising the stakes. It holds the promise of jobs and revenue, but some say the risk is too high. Next, who's all in and who's folding?
And later, it's a competition where knowledge is power and reading is the key to victory. We'll explain as students go head-to-head in the battle of the books.
Fairly quiet across a large portion of the state, but we are watching some light snow showers as well as possibility for some wintry mix out west. I'll have more on that in that 7-day forecast. But first, sunrise 9:10 in Anchorage, 9:56 in Bethel. Your full forecast is next.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back here on your Tuesday. So recently, Mother Nature has been providing mainly clear skies, and it is a great chance to get out and do, a little stargazing.
Tracy Sinclair is taking advantage and brings you another edition of Skywatch Alaska. Find out which planets are visible in the night sky, which ones will be leaving soon, and of course, the all-important aurora forecast. Check out Skywatch Alaska on our website, YouTube channel, and our free streaming platforms. And of course, as you can see on your screen, we love to see your viewer photos.
Yes.
So be sure to send us all of those pictures.
Have you seen Venus, the bright star, or that's been out there by the moon?
Next to the moon, yes. I was wondering what that was.
Yeah,
okay,
it's
so
Venus.
that's Venus.
Yes.
Good to know.
Yeah, we do have those clear skies. It's going to stay with us for a large portion of this week, which will pave the way for you if you're heading outdoors to take a look into the night sky to provide some decent viewing opportunities. Temperatures across the state still warm along the slope in areas out west. 4 below in Fairbanks this morning, 9 here in Anchorage. Out towards southeast, we've got those temperatures in the teens and the 20s. We're still holding on to some light snow as you head from Bethel out towards Nome this morning, where those temperatures are hovering near freezing. We've got a ridge of high pressure to the south that's continuing to shift through the Gulf of Alaska. It is going to flatten here over the next couple of days. That's going to lead to a gradual return to some cooler conditions for the interior, as well as a chance for some snow. As far as what we're dealing with this morning, you can see what we're as we continue to pump in this moisture from the out towards the ridge that's on the left side of this ridge. It's pulling in that moisture and that warmth from the Pacific Ocean. That's where we're seeing the greatest warmth from western Alaska out along the slope. That's also where we're going to see the potential for some areas of wintry mix. You can see out towards Nome this morning near White Mountain, portions of Norton Sound, where we are holding on to that light snow showers. That combined with some breezy conditions is leading to the possibility for some blowing snow. And there is a slight chance we could even see some areas of wintry mix as those temperatures continue to steadily warm. Now, looking out towards Nome this morning, this is courtesy from the FAA weather cams. You can see how that snow and those winds blowing that snow sideways. So you will see some reduced visibility at times. And we'll see the possibility for a couple of inches of some snow accumulation across parts of the state as this snow continues to remain with us through the day. It will build eastward into the evening hours. That's going to lead to some light light snow accumulation through parts of the interior. That will stay with us as we welcome in the coming days, where we could see a few inches of that snow accumulation. As far as south central and southeast, we're going to stay dry. Plenty of sunshine in the forecast, and those temperatures for the most part are going to really stay on the cooler side, although we will make a run near seasonal values here in south central. We'll climb into the upper teens, lower 20s today. Mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies to be expected. Be prepared for the possibility that we could see some areas of freezing fog across the Anchorage Bowl. Clear and chilly out towards southeast. Those temperatures warming near or slightly above freezing today. You can see some breezy winds through Taya Inlet and Lynn Canal. Overall, this week is going to be fairly quiet for a large portion of the state. We've got 30s and 40s across coastal regions, teens and 20s as you head inland across south central. 38 degrees in Whittier, 31 in Valdez. Those gap winds have died down. You can see Whittier only expecting to see those winds up to 20 miles per hour. So overall, today is going to be a decent day. You can see teens and 20s through the valley as well, with those overnight lows likely dipping near or slightly below zero. That 7-day forecast showing temperatures will slowly warm through the rest of this week. You can see by the weekend into next week, that's where we're going to see those temperatures nose their way back near or slightly above average. 26 Sunday, 30 degrees Monday. We were talking about it yesterday and going to give you another reminder today. Little to no precipitation in the forecast, but we've got plenty of sunshine sticking around.
All right. Thanks, Aaron. Well, the boulder near milepost 219 on the Parks Highway is gone. Monday morning, DOT used a controlled blast to destroy the 8-foot rock after a week of removal attempts. Officials say its size and location made it too difficult to move.
For this particular rock, what we did is we actually drilled in about 5 or 6 holes, and then with that, we placed the dynamite within it, so which is TNT, and essentially blasted the rock.
DOT says these types of avalanches are common, especially up north.
A new gaming hall is bringing a small dose of the flash of Las Vegas to Birchwood, but not everyone is ready to spin the wheel on the Eklutna Tribes project. The temporary facility is just the start, with a massive 50,000 square foot casino in the works. Supporters say it will create jobs and boost the local economy, but as Quinn White reports, neighbors aren't fond of the project.
So it gives you the feel of a slot machine in Vegas, is that?
It does. In fact, these themes you'll see in Las Vegas, Wolf Run and Triple Fortune Dragon, these are very, very popular themes down in Nevada.
For those who have been working to bring it to life, it's a dream come true.
The project's revenue will provide critical benefits not just to the tribe, but also the surrounding community. In particular, it will enhance the tribe's ability to support housing, employment, job training, scholarships, cultural enhancement, and healthcare initiatives in our community.
The current operation is temporary as the tribe constructs a 50,000 square foot gaming hall. Once completed, officials estimate the gaming hall will create 400 jobs and generate upwards of $67 million in economic activity. As the gaming hall opens its doors to the public, some neighbors still aren't sold. In December, a group of 8 nearby residents filed a lawsuit claiming the gaming hall would disrupt the neighborhood, impact home values, potentially harm nearby waterways, and increase crime. Gaming hall staff and village officials say they are committed to working with those who live nearby to address their concerns.
My promise and our desire is to be good community partners, working alongside the services of the community and run a responsible business that is fun and exciting for everyone.
The village is preparing for the construction of the main gaming hall and estimates it will be operational in the next 18 months. Quinn White, Alaska's news source.
You've been listening to the Alaska's News Source podcast. Subscribe to have the latest episodes delivered to your library automatically.